5:22, we're back on BT Thursday morning. An important conversation and celebration, we can say, for difference makers surrounding mental health in Canada. Jim and Sandi Treliving, co-chairs of the campaign. Congrats to you both, and a difference maker in his own right, David Granirer. Welcome.
Hello.
First things first, for people getting wind of 150 leading Canadians surrounding mental health, look, the phone's blowing up already. They know we're on TV. Jim, tell us about this program.
You know, it was started across. My wife did most of this and put it together with the board directors from CAMH. And what happened was we wanted to get people involved with mental health across the country, not just Toronto, not just Vancouver, all the major towns. And we wanted to pick the best 150 that we could get across the country, and that's how it started. And she did all the work. I got to go along for the ride.
Well, Sandi, it's a personal journey for you because you've been open that at the age of 10 years old, your life changed. Tell us about this and why this became such a passion.
Yes, thank you. My brother was diagnosed with schizophrenia and started showing signs of the illness when he was in his late teens, which is very normal for that age group. And so, you know, being 10 years older than I grew up in the home environment that became very challenged, to say the least. And so I've grown up knowing the world and always knew that I was going to contribute somehow to make it better for people like my brother and for families like ours that were affected by it. So,
well, a campaign like this helps remove the stigma, shed the shame if we could. And David, you've battled this firsthand. Take us through your teen years and what your personal battle was.
Absolutely. So my depression began when I was about 16. Wasn't officially diagnosed till my 30s. So I went around for almost 20 years with undiagnosed, untreated depression, during which time I attempted suicide when I was about 17. And it just shattered me. I basically vanished for 20 years.
And now you've reappeared on the stage because for any comedian in the city, they know David as a prolific stand-up comedy instructor. I've taken your class in the past.
Yes, it was awesome.
How has comedy really helped people look at mental illness in a completely different light?
Well, put it this way. We had a guy come to one of our shows, and he said afterwards, he said, that guy with schizophrenia on stage, he was hilarious. And how often do you hear hilarious and schizophrenia in the same sentence? And that basically says it all.
And you have a shot of the graduates. What, this is back in 2015?
Yes, that was our 2015 graduating class. Awesome class.
And Stand Up for Mental Health is the class. How does this class work to support people?
Well, basically, we take people and we help them to tell their stories. All this they talk about hearing voices and being hospitalized and attempting suicide through stand-up comedy. And it's a great confidence builder because when you can make a club full of people laugh, and when you're talking about this kind of heavy stuff, it's the greatest high. It's better than drugs. It's better than prescription drugs. It's free. There's no side effects.
But we do condone the laughter. Jim, we all know you as the business mentor, but your former life as an RCMP officer, you got a first-hand glimpse of mental health and how you wanted to change it.
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling when you look back now. We had a lot of the times we were taking what we called prisoners in those days, and they were mental health patients. We were taking them down to a Crease Clinic in Coquitlam. And I remember sitting there saying, we as policemen are not social workers. We don't know anything about this stuff. And what's really sad was we would drop them off there and they would beat the escort back because they were turned away there's no room. And that whole situation out in Essendale, it was that time, is now all those people are on the street somewhere. So we have to get going with this. We have to change stuff. And I saw so much of it right down to including my nephew who committed suicide. And I should have picked up on it, and I didn't. All of a sudden, you're looking at it and I say, you know what, here's a kid that went to school. He was the same age as David when he was going through this. 16, 17 years old. He walks in, he shoots himself with my gun that I'd given him to go hunting with. Wow. And you look at it and you look back at it and you say, my gosh, it tore my sister and her husband apart. Absolutely. The whole situation changes. Your whole life changes. And that's what we got to get to. We got to get to them early.
Yeah, Riaz, the stats are that 1 in in 5 are affected by mental health. But if you look at the bigger picture, you know, how did it impact me, even though it was my brother that was sick? Yeah. So is it really 1 in 5? Because I was impacted as well.
It's everyone.
It's everyone.
Everyone, all of us.
Coworker, caregiver, family member, on and on and on it goes. And we as a society, as very caring Canadians, obviously we had 3,700 nominations, which is incredible. We were really pleased with that. We care. We want to make change, and I feel that we have a really good national platform to do that with this program. So we're really proud of it.
The other thing it's starting to do is it's starting to resonate across the United States, across Canada, that when you see these horrific murders and stuff that are going on, that's a mental health problem. Not always a mental health problem, but most of it is. And when you look at it, we could have got to some of these people, you wouldn't have that happen.
Absolutely.
Well, this campaign is leading the charge in such an important way. David, congrats to you for being recognized, and to the 2 co-chairs. Thanks for recognizing 150 Canadians. The website, camhdifferencemakers.ca, for you to learn more about the campaign. A special event happening in our Difference Makers honor tonight. So enjoy that.